Coming up on today's show.
To talk to you a little bit about business etiquette and 5 strategies that I think can help you better increase your business etiquette and help with your success of your career.
Well, too, etiquette is kind of like being organized personally, because
Yes.
people can come off as sloppy and unorganized because they don't have very good etiquette.
Today, dress for the position that you want to attain. So even in companies where we're business casual, which is probably 85 to 90% of the companies these days, I still think you want to come, again, as you said, one notch up.
5 tips for enhancing professional etiquette today on Keeping You Organized. Well, hello, welcome to Keeping You Organized. Today we're going to kind of do something a little different than maybe your typical organizing video, but it's very important because we all have a business of some sort or work that we are involved in, and etiquette plays a huge piece in this. And we're going to actually bring on declutter coach Deb. I almost couldn't pronounce that. Deb Cabral, how you doing, Deb?
Hi, John. How are you?
We are doing great here, and I know that I want to talk a little bit about why we're talking about professional etiquette and how that relates to kind of what you're doing in your business right now.
Yes, so believe it or not, today is the 9-year anniversary when I started my business. I don't know where 9 years have gone, but I started as the declutter coach all by myself and very quickly was able to grow to have a team of people that helped me do both professional organizing in residences and also in businesses. In January of 2012, a lot of people don't really know this, I started a second business called DC Efficiency Consulting, where I do corporate training, consulting, and coaching, which is really what my corporate background was for many years before I started the Declutter Coach. So now, as the owner of the company, I oversee the Declutter Coach, but my primary role is as the lead trainer, consultant, and coach for corporations of all different sizes, colleges and universities, state agencies, government agencies. And so I thought it would be nice to kind of, switch it up a little bit today, and instead of talking about something organizing related, because your products are used in most of the companies that I work with, to talk to you a little bit about business etiquette and 5 strategies that I think can help you better increase your business etiquette and help with your success of your career.
Well, too, etiquette is kind of like being organized personally, because
Yes.
people can come off as sloppy and unorganized because they don't have very good etiquette. I'm sure that's one of the things that you preach, but let's get into these 5 tips for enhancing our etiquette. What's number 1?
Well, number 1 is pay attention to how you dress. So as I had mentioned before we started the recording, I do a lot of work in colleges and universities and do work with students that are getting ready to graduate from college and then enter the workforce. And, the work environment has changed drastically. I'm really showing my age, but when I came out of college, I had to wear a business suit or a dress or a skirt and a blazer every day to the office. I mean, that's just the way we dressed back when I graduated from college and entered the workforce in New York City in the 1980s. So it's very different today. And so I think everybody, not only students, but individuals in the work environment also need to understand the difference in, a lot of different corporate cultures. So I work in lots of different companies, private companies, corporate companies, more of the public sector. And it's really different based on your culture. So when I talk about pay attention to how you dress, I want you to understand what the dress code is in your specific organization, because it varies from organization to organization. Right. So that's really critical.
One thing I was going to ask you about, when people go to apply for a job, shouldn't they be just like a notch above what maybe, because we'll interview people here and they say, well, how should I dress for the interview, or how do you, and we're business casual here, but,
Yes.
On that first interview, don't you want to be just a little bit above that?
I agree. I mean, I remember years ago, and I think it still holds true today, dress for the position that you want to attain. So even in companies where we're business casual, which is probably 85 to 90% of the companies these days, I still think you want to come, again, as you said, one notch up. If you're applying for a position where you are going to be required to dress business casual, there's nothing wrong with coming in for a woman in a nice dress, or a nice pantsuit, or a man in a nice casual blazer jacket and then some khaki. So you don't have to come in a 3-piece suit, but you certainly want to look, again, one level up of what you're going to be dressing when you work for the organization.
Now, I know you work in the New York City area, and I'm sure there's just a huge range, right? You've got probably the creative shops where, flip-flops and everything is the norm, but then you have some more, buttoned up kinds of places. How do you teach somebody to have the proper etiquette, which is the proper dress in this particular point?
So it's all about the company's onboarding process, how they're bringing employees on. And most employees, their human resources or people department are very good at this. But if you were not given any information, what I would do as a new employee is ask, what is your dress code? May I see a copy of your dress policy? Because most companies have very specifics as to what or cannot be worn in the workplace. And some of them also give photos, which I think is really interesting. What is acceptable, and they'll actually show you a photo. So if you're not given this information during your onboarding process, definitely ask for the dress code, because the way you dress, as you know, can either enhance or detract from your career. You want to make sure that you're dressing in compliance with what is required of the organization where you work.
Right. And is there, once you're starting at a job, overdressing, can that be a hindrance too? Is there any they say, you dress for success and you can never overdress, but can you overdress?
I guess you can. Well, here's the thing. For me, I'm in companies, again, 3 or 4 days a week doing corporate training. I always wear a dress or a skirt and a nice blouse or a blazer like I have on today. The people that I'm training are not always dressed that way, but I feel that if I come in and I am more business casual, then I think the whole idea of the training gets, the message could get lost. So I really feel like I dress what I'm comfortable in and what I feel more comfortable in training. I certainly would not go dressed in a dress if I'm going to train in a factory. So I try to, definitely match my dress to the people that I'm training, but I tend to feel more comfortable in more professional dress.
Great. Well, if we're going to have the proper etiquette, we have to take a break right now. And when we come back, we're going to keep moving on to these 5 tips for enhancing your professional etiquette with Deb Cabral, and we'll be right back. Get organized in color at myorganized.life.
Live, we laugh, we love, and color.
myorganized.life. We're back now on Keeping You Organized, talking about the 5 tips to enhance professional etiquette with Deb Cabral. And Deb, before the break, we were talking about that first tip, which is, dress properly, right?
Pay attention to how you dress.
Pay attention. Yes. Now, is there any other tips that go along with that particular point?
Well, my last one, as I had mentioned earlier, making sure that you know what the dress code is so that you can stay in compliance. But when in doubt, just ask.
Yeah.
It's okay to ask.
Okay, great. Well, let's move on to tip number 2.
Cubicle manners. Please use your cubicle manners. So, now so many organizations are going to that open concept workspace or cubicles with very short walls. But we have to remember a few things. Number one, we still should not invade somebody's workspace without asking or without knocking. There's always like that metal on the top of the cubicle. It's appropriate to kind of knock before you, enter. Some of them are larger cubicles, but some of them are really tight, and it becomes uncomfortable if you enter without asking. Right. But I think so many people were in this such relaxed environment we're in now in many workplaces that we kind of forget the boundaries of manners. And so I say use your cubicle manners. So always kind of, ask the person or knock or say, hey, can I come in and chat with you before you just kind of enter the room.
Yeah, I know that because in here we have some cubicles and you walk in some and you kind of feel like I'm really invading their space.
Yes.
So you do want to be invited in. Right?
Yes. The other thing is not to interrupt when someone's on the phone. This is like a personal pet peeve of mine. Especially in this open concept, you can't always tell if someone's on the phone because, we're all wearing the AirPods or right. We have, a phone headset on. But it's always nice. And in some of the offices I work in, they'll actually have like a sign that they can put up to indicate that they're on the phone and please, do not disturb the person. But many times you can't tell. And so we automatically start talking to someone, not realizing that they're on the phone. So it's always good to even hand gesture, like, are you on the phone? Is it okay? Can I, are you available? Before we just kind of start chatting. And we do see that a lot. And again, it's great to have this relaxed environment because there's a lot of positive things that come out of it, a lot of collaboration with individuals. But I really think we have to remember some of these manners.
Okay. Anything else on that particular point about cubicle etiquette?
Yes, the one last thing is keep your cell phone or your music either, your cell phone muted when you're at work, if at all possible, and your music on low. Some companies that I work with, you hear cell phones dinging all day, or people will have music playing in the background. And some people actually need that, but you have to make sure you have the appropriate earwear, or, that you can not distract those people around you. It's very difficult when you have this open environment to each have your own space, but yet not, really disrupt or interrupt others.
Okay, great. Well, let's move on. We're on to number 3 right now.
Number 3, this may sound old-fashioned, but watch your handshake. There's something to be said about a firm handshake, and a handshake can speak 1,000 words. You all have shook somebody's hand where they gave you a firm handshake. They're looking you right in the eye. They're smiling. If they know you, they're greeting you by name. But we've all had that handshake where it kind of feels a little bit uncomfortable, and you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So, there's a couple of rules, as I just mentioned, that you should follow. Always have eye contact with the person. It should be a firm shake. And they say that the grip should be equal to the grip of the person that you are shaking. So if you're gripping and they're squeezing a little bit harder, it's okay to do that as well. And that it usually lasts about 2 to 3 seconds, like 2 or 3 pumps of the hand. And it's perfectly acceptable to do that to most men and women. And it's fine to be the first one to extend your hand. Sometimes people are concerned, well, should I wait for the other person? Go ahead and go right in there and give that firm handshake, smile, and make great eye contact.
Yeah, I know. I've had a few bone-crushing handshakes before, which are very uncomfortable. You want to scream, but and a lot of it is like the angle that you're trying to get in. If you just kind of put it out straight, because sometimes it's like trying to make it match up can be challenging as well.
Yes, or one of an attendee in one of my classes once, we were actually practicing this, and the one person said to the other kid around, "Oh, you're shaking my hand like a wet noodle or something like that." And it's like, okay, everybody's grip is different, but we don't want to ever offend anybody or embarrass anybody. But if you lead with a firm handshake and again that pleasant smile and that eye contact, it speaks volumes for your professionalism.
Right. Well, Deb, I see we're not going to be able to get through all of this, all these 5 tips in one show. Are you willing to come back next time to kind of wrap it up?
Of course.
All right.
Of course.
Well, before we go, let's talk a little bit about your business. And I know you've got lots of things going on. How's the best way for people to get a hold of you, and what kinds of things are you doing right now?
Yes, well, we've got, I've got the 2 divisions to my company, the Declutter Coach, which is decluttercoachdeb.com, and I have DC Efficiency Consulting, which is DCEFF consult.com. Exciting things still going. The Declutter Coach is very busy. We do a lot of work in residential organizing, but we also go into the professional arena, and we just, received a big contract where we're working with a local government agency who is looking to declutter years and years and years worth of records. We also do a lot of moves, both with seniors and also with families that are moving to different, parts of our central New York where we live. On the DC Efficiency Consulting side, a lot of exciting things too. I am traveling all over doing corporate training and consulting. I love the work that I do. I get to meet, incredible people. I have a new product that just came out in January of this year that I'm really excited about. It is a subscription-based e-learning program. So I have several companies on it and more that are interested, and we're going to be hopefully onboarding them very soon. But it gives you the ability to watch training videos in the privacy of your own home. You can watch them at work. You can watch them on an iPad, your iPhone, an Android. It's basically learning at the learner's discretion. So many of the companies that I have up on it, they're requiring their employees to watch a certain amount of videos a month. And it's just a great way to enhance, the in-person learning. So e-learning is really becoming really big in the industry, and it gives the user the opportunity to kind of do what they want to do when they want to do it and select the learning that they want to have. So we love doing those. So rather than filming our show now, we're actually filming our learning on the go videos for our corporate clients.
Also, great. That's incredible. Now, I'm calling you Declutter Coach Deb. Are you still going by Declutter Coach Deb?
I'm always going to be Declutter Coach Deb. In fact, a lot of the companies that I work with, either knew us from our television show or knew me from, I do a lot of work with nonprofits in the area. So it's always going to be my name, but my hat really is wearing more on the DC efficiency consulting side of my business, and I'm really proud of the team that I have for the Declutter Coach. They're doing fabulous work, and I'm keeping busy running, both divisions of the company.
Well, great. Well, we're going to have to encourage people to get back to get the rest of the tips for professional enhancement of your etiquette. So join us next time with Deb Cabral right here on Keeping You Organized.